Το επόμενο μας θέμα έχει να κάνει με τη διάλεξη που διοργάνωσε το Hellenic Psychiatric Association U.K στις 18 Μαρτίου στο Ελληνικό Κέντρο του Λονδίνου. Η Πρόεδρος του Συλλόγου, κυρία Ελένη Παλαζίδου, διοργάνωσε την εκδήλωση με κύριο ομιλητή, τον Lord David Owen. Ας περάσουμε πρώτα να παρακολουθήσουμε το καλωσόρισμα και την παρουσίαση του κύριου ομιλητή από την Πρόεδρο του Συλλόγου, κυρία Ελένη Παλαζίδου.
Welcome to you colleagues and friends who have joined us here today. I'd also like to welcome and thank the Hellenic TV for covering this event and making it accessible to a wider audience. As many of you know, we in the Hellenic Psychiatric Association U.K, through our activities, we wish to bring psychiatry to society, to inform and to help demystify and also destigmatize mental disorders. We welcome suggestions from you for conditions you would like us to cover in the future, and we'll do our best to do so. I'll start, as it is Asclepian Oration, I'll just start with a brief word about Asclepios. Asclepios in Greek, or Asclepius for those of you who are Latin speakers. According to Greek mythology, Asclepius was the son of Koronis, a mortal, Thnidi, from Thessaly, and his father was the god Apollon. Asclepius was given the gift of healing, and he learned his medical skills from his father. Apollon was known as Apollon the Bear, the healer. He was also tutored in medicine by the centaur Hero, who was renowned in ancient times for his medical skills. Asclepius represented the healing part of medicine, and it is not surprising that his daughters had names to do with getting well from illness, concepts that we still use today, such as Hygeia, health, Panacea, Panakia, universal therapy, Iaso, recovery, and also Egli, which means glow, splendor. You may notice the emphasis is on health in its general meaning, regaining health, but also regaining well-being. Hence, Iaso, but also Egli. The WHO in 1948 made the declaration that health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. The ancient Greeks had thought of this from Asclepian times, over 1,000 years earlier. Asclepius was highly regarded. He was a great doctor and a very successful healer. But unfortunately, he fell foul of hubristic behavior, very appropriate for our lecture today. His success had the gods worried, and when it was rumored that he had managed to revive a dead man, he had gone too far. He had crossed into the domains of the gods. Mere mortals could not be allowed to interfere with the laws of nature, as dictated by the gods. Outraged with this hubris, or Hubris, Zeus threw a thunderbolt and killed him. As Hubris, or hubristic behavior, was always followed by nemesis, the god's punishment. This is all mythology, but it gives us an insight into the norms of the ancient Greek world. Hubris was a basic understanding of the world theory, the cosmotheoria, of the ancient Greeks. When somebody who overestimated his or her abilities and power, physical but mostly political, economic, or military, was behaving with a violent, arrogant, and insulting way towards others and towards the laws of the city, he or she was considered to have committed hubris. Some people asked me earlier what hubris meant. I hope this explains it to some extent. Lord Owen, of course, will go into much more detail about it. Such a person was seen as trying to transcend his mortal nature, and attempted to become equal to gods. And of course, this resulted in the gods being insulted and outraged. This hubristic behavior was seen in the ancient Greek world as an infringement of the moral order and an attempt to bring down the social balance and more generally the world order. Hence, the involvement of the gods to ensure limits in human behavior. But gods were created by man. But back to Asclepius. Despite the perceived hubristic behavior of Asclepius and his punishment, the gods seemed to mellow after his death, and Asclepius was deified. All over the Greek world, there were sanctuaries named after him, the Asclepian, places where sick people were treated and doctors were trained in the art of medicine. Something very much like today's teaching hospitals. Hippocrates, the father of medicine, made his name in one of these, in the Asclepion of the island of Kos. He very wisely, though, stayed away from hubristic behavior, and in his oath, the famous Hippocratic oath, he starts by being respectful to the gods. He says, I swear by Apollo the healer, Asclepios, Aegea, and Panagia, and I take to witness all the gods, all the goddesses, he's really playing safe, to keep according to my ability and my judgment the following oath and agreement. And I won't tell you the oath, don't worry. But now it's time to introduce our orator, the Right Honourable Lord Owen. Many of you may not know, but he's also a doctor. He trained in neurology and he was psychiatric registrar at St. Thomas's Hospital, London, before becoming a research fellow. He then left medicine for politics. He has had a long and illustrious career as a politician. He served in Labour governments as Navy Minister, Minister of Health, and Foreign Secretary. He co-founded the Social Democratic Party and was its leader from 1983 to 1990. From 1992 to 1995, Lord Owen served as the European Union peace negotiator in the former Yugoslavia. He now sits as an independent Social Democrat in the House of Lords. Lord Owen has long been interested in the interrelationship between politics and medicine and has written extensively on the subject. He wrote first The Hubris Syndrome, an acquired personality disorder, published in Brain, 2009, a prestigious medical journal. In Sickness and in Power, Illness in Heads of Government since 1900, is a book published first in 2008, and the revised edition 2016, just fresh out of press, is available today for those who wish to acquire a copy, and you could have it signed by Lord Owen himself. He wrote The Hubris Syndrome, Bush, Blair, and the Intoxication of Power in 2012, and Hubris in Leadership, A Peril of Unbridled Intuition, published in Leadership 2013. He is chairman of the charitable organization Daedalus Trust, which is dedicated to raising awareness of the dangers of hubris and of hubris syndrome in public and also in business life. It facilitates and finances research and provides a central repository of academic material on its website. And if anybody is interested, I can let you have the website details later. I'll now hand over to the Right Honourable Lord Owen to deliver the 2016 Asclepian Oration on the subject of hubris, titled Toe Holders.
Πάμε να παρακολουθήσουμε τώρα ένα απόσπασμα από την ομιλία του Lord David Owen, ο οποίος ήταν καλεσμένος από το Hellenic Psychiatric Association U.K. Θέμα της διάλεξης ήταν the Asclepian Oration on the subject of hubris, titled Toe Holders.
Well, thank you very much, and I hope it's clear in the back, and if it drops tell me, because there's nothing worse than going to a lecture and not hearing it. I want to talk a little bit about a number of aspects of hubris syndrome. I would like to start by saying that the Greek language, I think, gives a quality to the word narcissism, which is pretty necessary given the overall angst, to use a German word, about anybody who is called narcissistic. I don't hide from you that I could have called it narcissistic syndrome, but I believe that language, which started with Freud and his classic work on hubris, on narcissism, it is just easier to get people to focus on your Greek word, hubris. And it is different. I don't want to exaggerate the differences between hubris and narcissism, but the more I've read about Greek mythology, the more I've become convinced that the word itself has some special aspects to it which are not, they're covered by, but they are not actually seen publicly as part of the word narcissism. And the biggest difference seems to me to be the aspect of hubris behavior which was most objectionable in Greek mythology, which was the inner contempt for individuals that was often displayed by somebody with hubris. And when you are looking at somebody and trying to analyze whether they are having hubris syndrome, which I'll explain, if you see contempt, then you're almost certainly going to encounter the syndrome. Now, there are a number of ways of looking at the explanation of it, and I thought I would show this slide, and I'll leave it up there. I won't read it all out, but this comes from an article in Brain, which was written in 2009. I am by training a neurologist and a neuroscientist, and I was asked by the editor to write this article, and I really felt that I was going beyond my capacity. After all, I haven't done any serious medicine since 1968, when I was banned from being a doctor and Minister for the Navy. And it does require a measure of hubris to define a syndrome at about the age of 65, when your medical knowledge is long since gone. So an American professor of psychiatry at Duke University, Jonathan Davidson, wrote a very nice review of what I've been writing about hubris syndrome, and the little pamphlet that was put out, well, a little paperback that was put out before the main book on In Sickness and in Power. And I asked him if he would come and write it with me. He said, I don't need to do that. I'll help you. I'll give you every assistance. I said, actually, I do think we need this. And I embarked on a course which I must confess was one of the most enjoyable things I've done in life, which was for 6 months to write an article entirely using electronic communication, to have the article peer-reviewed by 3 I assume, distinguished psychologists or psychiatrists chosen by Brain. A procedure which, when I was a doctor and I wrote a number of papers with a very distinguished neurologist called David Marsden, didn't exist in the early 60s. And I found, firstly, one person I think was, I wouldn't say hostile, but very critical of the concept, and two were very enthusiastic. But their comments, and then their comments again when you responded to their comments, was an extremely enriching and fascinating experience. And eventually it was accepted for publication in Brain, and I still hadn't met Jonathan Davidson. We managed to meet up when I was in America in, of all places, San Diego, and we had 6 hours together. It was like we must feel a sort of adopted son who suddenly meets their father, you know, completely extraordinary experience. So this is joint work, and I would not have been able, as I say, to do it anywhere near as effectively or as knowledgeably if had it not been for my partnership with Jonathan. And these are the 14 criteria that we drew together for a definition of Hubris syndrome. Now, what is basically Hubris syndrome? For many, many years, psychiatrists and psychologists thought personality change was something you were, if not exactly born with, something which developed really early in life, and certainly by 18, your personality was pretty fixed. And they were very reluctant to see it in any way different from that. So when we first started seeing discussions in psychiatry about post-traumatic stress disorder, there was a reluctance of the profession to accept it as a diagnosis because it would be an acquired syndrome. And you know it's been written up, of course, a lot in the army, and particularly in the light of the appalling, stressful circumstances of the Iraq invasion and Afghanistan. And slowly, what was accepted by the public has now become accepted by the professions, that you can have a change of personality that is acquired in, obviously, post-traumatic stress disorder in circumstances of acute stress, like in the field of battle.
Αγαπητοί φίλοι τηλεθεατές, αυτά είχαμε για σας απόψε. Στο σημείο αυτό, να σας υπενθυμίσουμε ότι μπορείτε να επικοινωνείτε μαζί μας τηλεφωνικά στο 020 82 92 70 37 ή μέσω της ηλεκτρονικής μας διεύθυνσης info@hellenictv.net. Επίσης, μην ξεχνάτε ότι πλέον μπορείτε να παρακολουθείτε στο κανάλι 244 στο Freeview, εντελώς δωρεάν, διαδικτυακά, αλλά και από το Roku Box της U.K, όλες τις αγαπημένες σας ελληνικές και κυπριακές σειρές, τις τοπικές παραγωγές του σταθμού μας, δεκάδες ελληνικά κανάλια και από Ελλάδα και Κύπρο, αλλά και πολλές κινηματογραφικές επιτυχίες. Το Hellenic TV πρωτοπορεί στην τεχνολογία και δημιουργεί το νέο application με την ονομασία Vision TV Net, όπου μπορείτε να μας παρακολουθείτε με όλες τις κινητές συσκευές σας, iOS και Android σε ολόκληρο τον κόσμο. Πριν όμως σας αποχαιρετήσουμε, ας ρίξουμε μια ματιά στις εκδηλώσεις των ερχόμενων ημερών. Την Παρασκευή 8 Απριλίου στις 7:30 το βράδυ θα πραγματοποιηθεί η παρουσίαση του βιβλίου Alexander the Great and Radipu από το Χριστάκη Λίτρα στο Κυπριακό Κοινοτικό Κέντρο, ο οποίος θα έρθει ειδικά από την Ραδίπου για αυτή την παρουσίαση. Παρουσιαστής του βιβλίου ο Δ. Ζανέτος Τοφαλής. Την Κυριακή 17 Απριλίου, εξάλλου, ο Σύλλογος Ελλήνων Γονέων οργανώνει τον ετήσιο χορό του στο Regency Banqueting Suite, ενώ στις 21 Απριλίου θα πραγματοποιηθεί η 7η διάλεξη του Ελεύθερου Πανεπιστημίου για αυτή την περίοδο. Αμέσως μετά, μη χάσετε την ελληνική κωμωδία «Ένας κοντός θα μας σώσει» και ακολουθεί η ταινία «Ο Παραμυθάς». Τα προγράμματα που μπορείτε να παρακολουθήσετε το Σαββατοκύριακο είναι αύριο Σάββατο στις 7:30 την εκπομπή «Ανέσπερον Φως» που παρουσιάζει και επιμελείται ο πρεσβύτερος Σάββας Νταβίδ Βασιλιάδης. Αμέσως μετά, στις 8 το βράδυ, ακολουθεί η εκπομπή «Αύριο είναι Κυριακή» που επιμελείται και παρουσιάζει ο πρωτοπρεσβύτερος Ιωσήφ Παλιούρας. Στη συνέχεια στις 9 ακολουθεί η νέα μας εκπομπή Sunny Properties που παρουσιάζει μοναδικά ακίνητα της Μεγάλης Βρετανίας αλλά και του εξωτερικού που διατίθενται προς πώληση ή ενοικίαση. Την Κυριακή στις 7:30 μη χάσετε την εκπομπή με τίτλο «Θέματα υγείας» που επιμελείται και παρουσιάζει η γιατρός Κική Σονίδου. Αμέσως μετά ακολουθεί η εκπομπή «Πρόσωπα» με τον Βασίλη Παναγή. Τη Δευτέρα μη χάσετε στις 8 το βράδυ την εκπομπή «Ανάδειξέ το» και στις 10 μη χάσετε την εκπομπή «Το ταξίδι της ζωής» με την Αγγίλ Λουπέσκου. Την Τρίτη στις 8 προβάλλεται η εκπομπή «Δράξαστε παιδείας» που επιμελείται και παρουσιάζει ο πατέρας Ιωσήφ Παλιούρας. Την Τετάρτη παρακολουθήστε στις 8 την εκπομπή με το φακό του Hellenic TV που θα σας παρουσιάσει την ετήσια χωροεσπερίδα της ΕΔΕΚ Ηνωμένου Βασιλείου όπου παρευρέθηκε ο πρόεδρος του κόμματος Δόκτωρ Μαρίνος Σιζόπουλος. Ακολουθεί η ταινία με τίτλο «Κορόιδο Γαμπρέ» και στη συνέχεια μη χάσετε την εκπομπή με το φακό του Hellenic TV που θα παρουσιάσει τον παρικιακό εορτασμό των εθνικών μας επετείων της 25ης Μαρτίου 1821 και 1ης Απριλίου 1955, που διοργάνωσε η Εθνική Κυπριακή Ομοσπονδία σε συνεργασία με τις οργανώσεις και τα σχολεία της Ομογένειας. Την Πέμπτη παρακολουθήστε το πολιτιστικό ημερολόγιο, μια εκπομπή με πολιτιστικό και ενημερωτικό χαρακτήρα που παρουσιάζει η Σουζάννα Καζάκα στις 8 το βράδυ. Στο σημείο αυτό, η εκπομπή «Ομογένεια ΕΔΩ ΛΟΝΔΙΝΟ» έφτασε στο τέλος της. Να ευχηθούμε σε όλους σας να έχετε ένα καλό βράδυ και την ερχόμενη Παρασκευή στις 8 η ώρα μη χάσετε την εκπομπή μας «Ομογένεια ΕΔΩ ΛΟΝΔΙΝΟ» που θα την παρουσιάσει η Δήμητρα Νικητάκη, όπου θα σας παρουσιάσει τις εκδηλώσεις της Ομογένειας. Καλό σας βράδυ και καλό Σαββατοκυριακό!